The teams are shaking hands in Bloemfontein. Then for our second of three commentaries today, France-Mexico comes later. So to Bloemfontein and the Davids, Pleat and Oates, and first Jackie Oatley.
Thank you, Mark. And the end of the anthems there, greeted by the start of the Vuvuzelas blast for the day, which we can pretty much guarantee will continue until the very end of this match. We're at what I'd describe as a proper football stadium here. We have no running track around the outside, unlike where we saw England play in Rustenburg the other night. So the fans close to the pitch, but the only disappointment really is that the stadium is probably only about a third full, with a capacity of 45,000. Now it's going to take a little bit longer than usual to run you through the two sides. I'll go to Greece in a second. Not looking forward to that one by any stretch. But for Nigeria, they've switched to a 4-4-2 with Vincent Enyema in goal. Back four remains the same, of Odia Yobo of Everton, Shitu of Bolton and Taiwo at left back. A midfield of Keita on the right, Kalo Uche in the centre, Dixon Ituhu of Fulham in the middle, with Lukman Haruna, the upcoming player, on the left, with Yakubu of Everton and Odem Wingi up front. Now, I'm absolutely delighted to report that we have a 3-4-3 formation for Greece, and two of the three centre-halves are called Papadopoulos and Papastathopoulos, with Sotirios Kyriakos of Liverpool in the middle. So if those two could stay off the ball for much of the game, we'd be absolutely delighted. Now the wing-backs on the left, Torosidis, who's on a yellow card, another one, and he'd missed the final group game, with Vintra on the right, with Siliolis and Katsourannis in the centre, Karagounis on the left, Salpingidis comes in on the right. He's a little bit shorter than Samaras, who's been dropped for this game, but he has a lot more pace and zip about him, with Theophanis Gekas, the main striker up front, who's recently moved to Eintracht Frankfurt, had a rather unhappy spell at Portsmouth. As the two sets of players gather in their now familiar huddle, Greece will be all in white with their blue numbers on the back, and Nigeria all in green with white numbers. And David Pleat, as we've heard, is our summariser this afternoon. And David, you saw Greece in their opening game against South Korea, which they lost 2-0, are criticised for being quite defensive in that game. They're going to have to be more adventurous in this one. Yeah,
very unattractive. They looked slow in several positions. They looked poorly organised, particularly when they themselves were having corner kicks. South Korea broke on them rather easily. So there has been plenty for Ray Hargel to look at and to adjust to. One or two new faces in the starting group tonight. Sitaradis, who had some fame, of course, in Portugal in the 04 championships. He's been one that's been relegated to the bench. And I won't be surprised if Kyriakis, the Liverpool defender, starts slightly on the right. We'll just have to see if he starts on the right side of defence. But anyway, we are off and Greece are in possession.
We're underway in Bloemfontein. Greece attacking the goal away to our right, looking for their first ever World Cup goal. They've qualified for 4 tournaments now. The World Cup in '94, they lost all 3 games, and 3 Euros, and of course they won the European Championships in 2004. It's an extraordinary statistic that you can be European champions and never having scored or picked up a point at a World Cup. Throw in to the Greeks on the far side, in the shadows. Now pretty much all of the pitch is in the shadows in the last few minutes, as Kyriakos of Liverpool is in possession, comes back into the side this afternoon. Back to Papastathopoulos. Delighted that he'll be passing the ball across the back to Papadopoulos. Now back to Kyriakos. We see just how adventurous this Greek side will be, as a long ball forwards down the centre, looking for Gekas from Kyriakos, runs all the way through to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it was a tactic the other night of the Greeks. They tended to play the longer ball. I was interested to see comments about the ball being made. Obviously everyone has a view, but only the players really understand and know how it flies around and how the trajectory of the ball is in this atmosphere. But they did play a lot of crosses and from deep positions against South Korea, and really South Korea in that particular game dealt with them very, very well.
And possession almost given away by Nigeria. Keita plays the ball straight out of play, and that's a throw in on the far side to Tosaridis to take it. Now Greece in possession. The strike comes in, a rather hopeful one from long range, and it's Nigeria to bring the ball away, with the big centre-half Danny Shitu of Bolton, who didn't get a single minute of football for Bolton last season, very much out of favour, but it's been a feature of this World Cup that there have been a number of players who can't get into their club sides but can get into their international sides. Odemwingie coming forwards for Nigeria. And it's out of play on the far side for a throw-in to the Africans.
What they have got is quite a bit of pace at the back, of course, with Yobo and Shitu. A very experienced player, Shitu. You know, he started as a youngster at Charlton and QPR and spell at Watford. So he's experienced enough. He seems to have lost a lot of weight. I remember him as a young player, as a 19-year-old, and he looked very heavy then, and I thought there was going to be some problems with mobility. But wonderful achievement for him to be playing in these World Cup finals.
And Yakubu has given away a free kick. No goals, 2.5 minutes played on 5 Live between Greece and Nigeria. We're in Bloemfontein, right in the heart of the Free State province, which is the judicial capital of the country. They have various capitals for different purposes, but this is where the main court is. Greece in possession, inside the centre circle. Katsaranis with long ball forwards over the top. Easy for the goalkeeper to deal with. Yeah, the goalkeeper, Enyemina from Hapoel Tel Aviv, the star man in the first game that they played against Argentina, made several saves, particularly to deny Messi. Very agile, only 27. And the strange thing is, he's one of 3 goalkeepers in the squad, and they all play in Israel. There's a link there, I'll tell you about that later on. Yeah, the link being the agent, of course. As Nigeria now in possession, we haven't seen anything from them in the first 3.5 minutes, passing the ball around the midfield. Here's Dixon Atuhu of Fulham with the bright orange boots, as several of the players have. Back to Atuhu. Looks for some support. Takes a couple of touches. Finds it as Odemwingie plays the ball out to the far side. Crossed into the centre, but high over the head of Yakubu. He was complaining he was being held, but the ball went high over his head. And it's easily dealt with by Greece, who bring the ball away. Yeah, looking for a break from the other side. Kaluchi coming in, but he was hanging out, and when the ball came over Yakubu's head, there was no one there to affect the cross. A lot of the crosses have been overhit, which is a sign, of course, that the players aren't too familiar with the ball. Here come Greece with Torosidis. Crosses in from the left-hand side, too far over the head of Gekas, who gone to the near post. And it's out of play by the corner flag away to our right. No goals. Similar example there. A cross overhit. And you have to have the wide player coming in from the other side, someone who wants to score, wants to get in that 6-yard box. You have to be brave. I was quite impressed with Pepe the other day. He did that quite well in the game. I think it was for Paraguay. Appeared in the box several times and was a betting man. If Chile continue to play in this tournament, he might get a couple of goals. So no goals here between Greece and Nigeria. Let's go over to Royal Ascot to join John Hunt for the closing stages of the Ribblesdale Stakes.
Yes, Jackie, a big race for the fillies here, over 1.5 miles. They're well past halfway, heading towards the home straight. Acquainted is the leader here, a race in which Hibayeb and Principal Roll were sent off, the 4-1 joint favourites. Middle Club is in second place. Principal Roll is close up, right in behind them with Fatana, who's also well there. Frankie Dettori poised next on Hibayeb, who's racing in 5th place. Gertrude Bell and Bikini Babe are now both being ridden along. Looks as though it's going to be another miserable run from an Aidan O'Brien horse here. Cabaret is last and struggling as they begin the turn for home. So on, straightening up, 2.5 furlongs for them left to go here, and hitting the front is Middle Club. Richard Hughes chasing him hard now is Principal Roll down the outside. Dettori right there with Hibayeb joining in a line of 3 now as they head to the closing stages. In 4th place is Fatana, and then running on only at 1 pace is Gallic Star, but Dettori now sets sail for home on Hibayeb. Quick and impressively she has. She's 3 or 4 lengths clear. Fabulous effort from the back. El Dalil is staying on for place money, but Hibayeb is a tremendously impressive winner of the Ribblesdale Stakes. Frankie Dettori's second winner of the week. El Dalil was 2nd place, and in 3rd position was Gaelic Star. Really impressive that, Jackie. More on that later. Hibayeb wins here in style. Back to you at Bloemfontein for Greece and Nigeria.
Thank you very much, John. And of course we'll return to John and the team at half-time for the biggie, the Gold Cup, coming up. And here you haven't missed anything in the last couple of minutes or so that we went over to Ascot, apart from a clear lack of pace by Yakubu as the ball was played down the left channel. Now here is Yakubu on the chase again. Easily dealt with by Greece. Yeah, not going to be easy for Nigeria to penetrate. Greek have got a little combination at the back, almost 3 markers. Katsaroon is sitting deep in midfield. Kyriakos is playing on the left of 3 centre-backs almost, and the number 8 of Papadopoulos
he's playing as the deepest man. So they've got what I call defensive cover. They're leaving Gaikas up the front, as they did the other day with Samaras and Christaras on the wide positions. Both of those sacrificed today. We've got Karagounis making the play, and Gaikas, he stays up front, and then they've put a bit of pace on the left-hand side with Salpingidis. But so far, no penetration behind the Nigerian defence, who look very big and strong. Some very tall players on this field today.
It's David Pleat with us on 5 Live. He was delighted to see a Nottingham Forest England flag over the far side. David being a Forest fan and working with Forest, of course. There's Greece now in possession, playing the ball forward to Saridis, but is brought away by Etuhu for Nigeria. And we haven't seen a great deal from them so far, as Etuhu plays the ball over the far side. Kaita, also with orange boots, identical ones to Etuhu, back into the midfield to Haruna, the highly rated youngster who's made his mark in the second half of the season at Monaco. Nigeria looking to create the first opportunity of the game. Good play by Haruna, played into the centre, the angled ball high over the head of Odemwingie. Nobody else in the box, and so far the deliveries into the box so far have been poor. Yeah,
it was a nice little bit of interplay there. Haruna involved when the cross came in. Once again, it was just beyond anyone coming into that 6-yard box. There is a reluctance, of course, to throw players into the 6-yard box, to get players into the box, until, of course, teams are trailing, and that's when they have to chase the game a little bit more.
We're in Bloemfontein, right in the centre of South Africa for the World Cup, or as everybody on television here calls it, the FIFA World Cup 2010. Nobody actually calls it just the World Cup like we do. I suppose they have other sports they have to distinguish between. As Nigeria just managed to keep the ball in play over the far side. They're attacking the goal away to our left, but so far both goalkeepers have led quite a charmed life in the opening 9 minutes or so on 5 Live, and that'll be a free kick to Greece.
The left-back Torosidis, who's under a yellow card, played quite well in the first game. He's looking to push forward very much on the left-hand side, but they maintain their 3 centre-backs at all times against Odemwingie and Yakubu.
Here's Papastathopoulos, one of the centre-halves, coming forwards right towards the penalty area. Poor ball into the box, though, easily cleared by Nigeria on this near side. No incidents of any note so far, both sides just feeling each other out in the opening 10 minutes or so of this game.
Rather aimless ball there by the left-back, Taiwo. Plays his football in Belgium, or in Marseille. Came from Belgium.
Is Greece in possession on the far side, all in white. That's an unfair challenge, according to the referee, by Kaita, and that'll be a free kick. The challenge was on Torosidis.
Have a Colombian referee today. His first game in the tournament. We were all delighted that Mr. Webb did well last night in the game. We were all watching very closely for any mistakes.
Karagounis to take the free kick, 2 yards in from the touchline on the far side. Greece attacking the goal away to our right. He's going to take it right-footed. He has 5 players on the edge of the penalty area, along with a long line of green shirts. A couple of players just outside the box. It's curled in towards the danger area. Headed away by Nigeria as they look to come forwards on the counter-attack. That was a late foot up by Karagounis.
Karagounis, sorry Jackie, Karagounis, the captain who'd taken the free kick. He was substituted at half-time in the first game, and I thought his stock in trade was, although he's a schemer in effect, coming from deeper, he took all the free kicks, all the corners, and he just hit them high and hopefully towards players coming in. There was no invention, there was never a short corner, there was never a quickly worked 2v1 on a free kick. That's where I was so disappointed with the Greeks. The coach, of course, very experienced, Ray Hargel, 71 now. But unless Greece can show something special in this game, I'm sure he'll go back rather deflated.
Here's Vintra on the right-hand side for Greece, looking to get a decent ball into the box. It's not a great one, though. It's behind Gekas, and it's cleared away over the far side as Nigeria unable to retain possession. Kyriakos lays the ball all the way back to his keeper, Sorvas, who's one of 5 Panathinaikos players in this side. 2 from Olympiakos, and a couple of them play their football in Italy. As Nigeria in possession on the far side. Here's Dixon Etuhu, 5 yards inside his own half. Big Danny Shitu, although as David was saying, not quite as big as he was perhaps, even though he hasn't played any football all season. Greece now coming forwards. Oh, what on earth was that? He tried to chip the keeper from a long way out, Katsouronis. Wrong option?
Well, 7 out of 10 for the romance.
Yeah, if Xabi Alonso would try that, you could see him perhaps testing the goalkeeper a little bit more, but he wasn't too far off his line. Vincent Iema, who has helped me find my favourite stat of the World Cup, in that he scored 4 more goals for his club this season than Emil Heskey's managed for his. All 9 from the penalty spot. Emil Heskey only scoring 3 in the Premier League, 2 of them against Burnley and a couple of them in the Cups. But he's also joint top scorer of this Nigerian side as well, with Kalu Uche, who's in today, having also scored 9 goals for his club.
Let's hope they get a penalty today and he takes it to add a bit of colour to the game. He's got a bright yellow kit on in this sunlight, defending the end to our right. The other end, Sorvas, is all in black, and the Greeks look beautiful in white, just like Real Madrid and Leeds at their peak. But so far their football hasn't reproduced the magic of either Real Madrid or Leeds United in those wonderful years a few years ago in the 70s.
No, that is fair to say, David. As I'm hoping to see a half-decent game today, I have to say I've been a little bit unfortunate so far. A lot of people criticising the World Cup full stop for not really having come alive as yet. But a couple of decent games. The Germans have done well. The Argentinians have played well. Etuhu. Now here's Yakubu inside the penalty area and going down, not claiming a penalty as he tried to race on to the through ball, but it's well dealt with by the goalkeeper.
Good break by Yakubu on the right-hand side, but well marshalled by his friend from Liverpool, Kyriakos.
Greece being the only European side to have played at a World Cup, but without actually having managed to score a goal. They might have been joined by Slovakia, who are playing their first World Cup. That's a loose pass as Odemwingie goes down under the challenge, and that'll be a free kick to Nigeria midway inside the Greece half. First yellow card of the game.
And it's, would you believe, Papastapoulos.
Who?
Go ahead, Jackie. Who was it?
I didn't see who he was, in fact.
It was number 19.
It was Papastopoulos.
It was.
Papastathopoulos. Oh, I deserved that, didn't I? I totally deserved that. Papastathopoulos, who David and I are absolutely delighted is playing.
And the terrible thing, the irony is, I'm sorry, but the irony is he shouldn't have had a yellow card and we wouldn't have had to talk about him. It's a slightly harmless challenge. Beaten on the inside. And it's Ulche who's going to take this free kick from the left-hand side. Once again, we're going to have the in-swinger. A little bit of space behind the back players and the Nigerian forwards who are all pressing behind the white line, and they'll come back as the kick is taken.
Kalu Uche with a free kick, and it's glanced in inside the 6-yard box, and the goal is given. It's onside, and Nigeria take the lead, and it's Odemwingie with the goal. Peter Odemwingie heading home for Nigeria to make it Greece 0, Nigeria 1.
Well, it was one of those free kicks. I was talking about the space between the back players and the goalkeeper. An in-swinging ball, completely deceived. The man that took the kick will be given the goal. The players ran across the line of the goalkeeper. He had no chance at the last second. He was completely deceived by the movement of Odemwingie. They all missed the ball, and the ball crept in the far corner. We've seen that so many times. The goalkeeper might have done better. It certainly did not get a touch. It was Odemwingie who ran across the face of the goalkeeper, and I'm afraid the goalkeeper fell for the deception, and the ball went into the far corner of the net. So the free kick given against the number 19 of Greece, and maximised by the number 12 Uche of Nigeria. 1-0.
And the goal is given to Kalu Uche. There wasn't a touch, and now Greece looking to hit back with a corner up the other end as it's played in towards the near post. No one managed to get on the end of it as it's cleared away up towards the halfway line. Played forwards again by Greece on this near side. Kyriakos is up there, cleared easily though by Taiwo. Picked up now by Odemwingie, who initially looked as though he was going to claim the goal. Instead he went over to celebrate with Kalu Uche, who was one of the changes. That's a wasteful ball forwards. One of the changes in the side this afternoon. He's justified his inclusion. Absolutely.
Very interesting to see Kyriakos. He's challenging Odemwingie wherever he goes on the field. They're literally playing man for man. Kyriakos marking Odemwingie all the time, trying to get Papadopoulos as the cover. And on the other side, of course, that Papastopoulos, he's marking Yakubu. So you've got a 2v2 at the back and you've got a spare man all the time. But unfortunately, the goal had nothing to do with marking. It just had to do with poor play by the Greeks, really.
Kalu Uche, who scored the goal just a moment ago from that free kick, now has another set piece, a corner on this near side. And he plays it short this time. And he gets it back from Yobo. Uche with the ball in, headed away from the edge of the 6-yard box by Karagounis.
Uche's a right-footed player playing on the left-hand side. Sometimes that can work, particularly if you've got a left-footed full-back steaming up on the outside to use the space that the wide player leaves.
Taiwo with the throw-in just in front of us. And it goes all the way back to Danny Shittu. It'll be really interesting to see how Greece managed to react to this. They did go straight up the other end from the kick-off and to force a corner. And of course, without a goal in their World Cup history, the pressure will be on them to make sure that this World Cup doesn't end as a bit of a damp squib and potentially the end of Otto Rehhagel's reign. He, of course, becoming an absolute legend in Greece after winning Euro 2004 completely against the odds, beating the host nation Portugal. Now here come Greece, trailing by a 0-0. Down the right-hand side with Solis with the ball into the box, and it's cleared away by Nigeria, and the shot comes in from Katsaranis, and that's blocked as well, and there'll be a free kick on the halfway line to Greece with a sense of urgency now from them. Katsaranis spreads the ball wide to the far side. Early ball into the penalty area looking for Gekas. Cleared away though again by Nigeria, headed on by Tuhu. Back now with Kyriakos.
Better by Greece, just beginning to force the ball into the Nigerian half, trying to get a little bit more support up the front for Gekas. I'd like to see Solis get into the play a little bit. He's a solid midfield player. I saw him play very well for Werder Bremen. Didn't show that form in the first game against South Korea. But if anyone is going to influence the game from the centre for Greece, it has to be him. I just feel the fading pace of Karagounis now is almost a handicap to them at times. The experienced player from Panathinaikos, where 5 of the players who start the game come from the Greek side, Panathinaikos. And that contrasts to the Nigerians, not one, of course, who play in that country of around 160 million fanatical football followers.
Another Nigeria attack comes to nothing. They're leading by a 0-0, but now it's picked up in midfield. Yakubu tries to play the 1-2 with Haruna, who's upended by Kyriakos, who's down on his knees pleading with the referee, saying it wasn't a foul and please don't book me if you think it was. And that'll be a free kick. We're about 25 yards out to Nigeria, across the other side from where they scored the opening goal, as Haruna tried to play the 1-2 with Yakubu and kind of ran into Kyriakos, and the ball in the build-up came off the referee, so he'll be quite relieved that a goal wasn't scored as a result of it, but it may still be indirectly as Nigeria have a free kick.
4 or 5 green-shirted players discussing, maybe rivaling each other. We don't know who's going to take this free kick. Is there something of invention? I've seen very few free kicks to make me sit up in this tournament so far.
Well, let's see. Nigeria leading by a 0-0 in Bloemfontein. Our second commentary of the day on 5 Live. The Nigerians lining up the free kick. It's just over 25 yards out. Nearer 30. There's a couple of players standing over the ball. Tuhu touches it, and the long-range strike comes in by Taiwo. And it's out of play, and behind it's taken a deflection off a Greek defender, and that'll be a corner to Nigeria.
I think it was Taiwo there hitting that ball with his right foot there. We know he's got a powerful dig in his left foot. The Marseille player has a year to go of his contract. Might interest some people. Lack of left-footed left-backs in England.
Nigeria with the corner over the far side, taken by Kalu Uche, a high one towards the edge of the penalty area, headed back in by Yakubu, headed away though by Katsaranis, and Nigeria retaining possession. The far side, Kaita gets it back, infield to Atu, who has a little bit of space, looks up and tries to chip the ball forwards into the penalty area where Danny Shittu was still up there from the back, but there's too much on the ball. It's gone behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, just bypassed the wing back Vintra, who played at centre back in the first game with Kyriakos. Much changed defensive formation. from the first game. Ray Hagel's had 2 or 3 days to work on it. But so far, as in the first game, we've seen very little in an attacking sense. We just saw that very ambitious shot from the halfway line, which Nyima coped really well with. He was almost on his line, but no other shots or headers at the moment from the Greece team.
Free kick to be taken by the captain, Karagounis. He's just stolen a few yards when the referee wasn't looking. About 10-15 yards or so into the Nigerian half. Greece attacking the goal away to our right. And a free kick into the penalty area. Kyriakos up there from the back, and he's headed well wide to the left-hand post. So we've reached the midway point of the first half. It's Greece 0, Nigeria 1. And to take you through to half-time, David Oates.
Thank you, Jackie. Well, Argentina really upped the ante, didn't they, with their performance at lunchtime in Johannesburg. I'm afraid Greece and Nigeria haven't really been able to collect the baton and run with it, but we have at least seen a goal. Although it wasn't particularly well crafted, it was a neatly flighted free kick, I suppose, from Uche Odumwingie. I think he just deceived the goalkeeper. He didn't actually get a touch. I have to say, my first impression was that he had touched it, but replays clearly show that he just fooled the goalkeeper, I think. The ball is on the far side with the Nigerians. Keita knocks it long. Yakubu can't reach it, and Kyriakos clears for the Greeks, who have been desperately disappointing thus far. A game and 23 minutes played in this World Cup, so they've still never scored a goal. They are going forward now. It's a chase for Gekas, but the goalkeeper Nyima, who played very, very well in the first game against Argentina, helped keep the score down. There's only 1-0 that they lost, and that might turn out to be a really good thing for Nigeria, that they kept the score down in that game.
Yes, importantly. But that was a ball played through to Gekas, and I think the nearest midfield player to him when that ball was played was probably 45, 50 yards behind. They have to get a midfield player or this front player closer to Gekas. Salkamdidis, he could get further forward, maybe even Karagounis, because I think that when he plays too deep, he's a handicap to them. He's a bit of a schemer. He needs to get further forward.
Well, Vintra of Greece has just dribbled the ball rather clumsily out of play. It has been won back by Ziolis, though, and he squares it to Gekas, and the Greeks have it just outside the penalty area, about 10 yards outside, and then there's a foul on Karagounis, and that's going to be a free kick in a dangerous-ish position, if you like. I'm not quite sure that's in shooting range, particularly as David Pleat says, we've not seen a decent free kick.
Well, Karagounis will think it's within shooting range. At least he'll take the ball, I can tell you that. Whether he'll come off at half-time in this game, I don't know. But they put great responsibility on this guy, the captain from Panathinaikos. Takes the corners, takes the free kick, probably takes the match ball home with him as well if no one gets a hat-trick.
Well, he's very much the playmaker. He's had spells at Inter and Benfica. As David says, plays for Panathinaikos now, and he chips it in. Thought he was going to shoot, but he chipped it in. He tried to deceive the Nigeria defence on this occasion, but they are very strong, and they are very tall, physically imposing. I agree with everything that Jackie and David said about Danny Shitu, how he's slimmed down, but he is still a very physically imposing man, if you look at him from distance. And presumably close up, in fact. Probably more physically imposing close up. We played 25 and a bit minutes here in the Free State Stadium in Bloemfontein. It's been a lovely sunny winter's day here. It does get cold here. It was freezing this morning. But I think the fans that are in the sunshine over on the far side are probably still just about in shirt sleeves. It's probably about 10 in the sun. I would also and about 0 over here.
Yeah, and also, David, Jackie made the point early on. She's quite right. It was only about a third full at the start of the game. Whether it's traffic problems or whatever, but it's certainly a good half full now. There's a good crowd. There's a very good Greek following, incidentally.
Papastathopoulos has given the ball away, but almost won back there by Kyriakos. In fact, he did get the last touch, but he's only succeeded in sort of lumping it downfield, and it's gone behind for another goal kick. Greece 0, Nigeria 1. Uche the scorer in the 15th minute. We're now in the 27th minute, and over on the far side, Keita tries to play the ball forward, and again Kyriakos, I think, just tripped Odumwingie there, and the referee might want to have a word with the Liverpool defender there. That was off the ball, and I think the pace of Odemwingie is troubling the Liverpool man.
Well, Kyriakos is man marking, whereas he plays in the back four at Liverpool, for example, if the player alongside him attacks the ball, he drops off. If Kyriakos attacks the ball, the other player drops off. Here we've got him man marking Odemwingie, and I have to say, when you're man marking, sometimes unless you're very disciplined, you can get over tight, too tight, you can get turned, and certainly you'll give free kicks away if you're too ambitious and intent on winning the ball early. And he has to be careful, Kyriakos, because that was off the ball.
Well, here comes the free kick from Taiwo, which is cleared on the edge of his own penalty area by Katsaranis, and the Greeks have the ball back. Odemwingie is very, very quick, often plays as an orthodox right winger. He's tucked in behind Yakubu today. He was actually born in Russia with a Nigerian father, and he plays for Lokomotiv Moscow, so he's got a pretty decent pedigree, and he is troubling the Greek back four.
And here's one for you with Jackie's penalty stat. He's married a Ukrainian lady.
Throwing on this near side to Taiwo. Just looking for a few options up ahead of him. There wasn't much doing, to be fair, but the Nigerians have retained possession as Haruna plays it forward to Odemwingie. It's back with Haruna. The teenager plays the ball out to the far side to Keita, the right midfield man. Then it's back to Adaya, and he plays it forward, but it was a really poor pass selection, and Katsaranis cuts it out. This is Karagounis now, the captain. He's got support from Vintra on this near side. He was actually born in the Czech Republic to Greek parents. A ball infield past Papastathopoulos, the only player to be yellow carded thus far, and then out to Torresides, the supporting full-back on the far side. Good possession here from Greece. Is there an end product? Well, not instantly, certainly, because that ball has been headed clear by one of the big Nigerian defenders. Then Karagounis, not quite sure what that was intended to be. Well, horribly overhit through pass.
He tried to cross it in there. I tell you, that's his stock ball. He likes crossing the ball, but they got nothing from against South Korea, and probably 5 crosses so far in the game, and also nothing productive from those. You just need to work the ball. I thought the idea of playing Salpingidis on the left was that he was speedy and that he was going to attack the right side. Adaya, the Moscow player at right back. That hasn't happened so far. They're certainly the most pedestrian team in the tournament. It's not their fault. They just haven't got any forwards of speed. I can just imagine someone like a Defoe in this team, or a Rooney, just one forward, someone with a bit of electricity to hurt the opposing defenders. They haven't got anyone.
Atuhu plays it back to Taiwo. David Pleat with us on 5 Live, your World Cup station. It's Greece 0, Nigeria 1, and this would give the Nigerians real hope, if it stayed like this, of qualifying, because their final game would be against the other team that's won a game, lost a game. That's South Korea. That's in Durban at 7:30 next Tuesday evening. Earlier today, by the way, if you are just tuning into 5 Live, Argentina 4, South Korea 1. Another very, very impressive performance by the Argentines. At 2-1, the Koreans had a chance, a really good chance to equalise. It's the Greeks here coming forward, and that's good defending from Taiwo. Wasn't taking any chances there, just puts the ball behind for a corner. We've played exactly half an hour, and Nigeria lead by a goal to 0.
Almost a brilliant piece of play by the Greeks, well defended by Taiwo. Terrific ball. Katsaranis it was, who played the ball inside of the fullback, and Salpingidis was galloping towards the byline, just intercepted by the Marseille left-back Taiwo.
So corner will be taken by captain Karagounis, and there are 4 in the box, and Kyriakos with the header way over the crossbar, about 4 or 5 yards over the crossbar. Good climb though from the defender. Yeah,
good leap. He was really on the stretch there as that ball came in. He was defeating 1 or 2 big boys. There's at least 6 of them over 1.85 in the Nigerian team today. And also Greece have 7 players, I counted before the game, over 1.85.
Funnily enough, the goalkeeper for Nigeria is under 6 feet tall. I know you're converting it to metres. I'm not quite as au fait with metres as feet and inches, I'm afraid. But Enyema's only 5'11", which isn't big for a goalkeeper.
No, well, I convert things. I mean, here it's giraffes and lions, at home it's dogs and cats. I'm in a different country now. I'm African. For a couple of weeks. There is a little bit of pressure on the Nigerians, by the way, as the Greeks cross the halfway line. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. Long floated ball out to the far side. Good clearing header, though, from Adaya on that far side. Yes, the Football Federation of Nigeria have targeted a semi-final place, but that isn't good enough for the
the president, the wonderfully named Good Luck Jonathan, because he expects them to win it, apparently.
It was good luck, or was it good luck?
Luck.
Oh.
So please have some good luck, he's probably saying to them, but that's a really tall order to expect Nigeria to win it. I think a realistic hope, perhaps not expectation, a hope, is that they get through to the last 16.
Yeah, well, it's patriotism, and the African nations have an unrealistic ambition, I feel, watching so far. But of course the presidents of these associations are weird and wonderful people.
Oh no, he's not the president of the association, he's the president of the country.
Yes, and I'm saying the heads of the football associations,
have weird and wonderful ideas as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the ball's squared. The Greeks have got it. Katsaranis has it, and then out to the far side. This is the captain Karagounis, who switched flanks, and then he shoots from distance, and Yobo, Everton's central defender and the Nigerian captain, manages to clear with a powerful header out of play, and then there's a little bit of fisticuffs out on the far side, and one of the Greek players has gone down and claiming he was kneed there in the groin by Keita, and this could be a straight red, and it is. It's a straight red card. That was really, really stupid by Keita. Sani Keita, hard-working midfielder, don't know what he did that for. They were contesting the throw-in on the far side. I think it's Torresides. There might be a little bit of afters here as well, but Nigeria may lead, but they're down to 10 men.
Well, absolutely crazy thing to do so far in the tournament. I have to say the discipline's been good. It was Torresides who was ushering the ball. I just shielded it for a second, and then for some reason, there's no question about it, you can't do that. Keita put his foot into the thigh of Torresides as Torresides went to catch the ball. No need for that at all. It was so stupid. It wasn't vicious. But you don't put your leg up just as though you don't put your hands up as well. I mean, it's unnecessary and shows a very poor.
Yeah, it's a lack of discipline.
It's immaturity. I'm looking at Keita now walking off, shirt over his.
I think he's crying, to be honest. I think he knows he's let himself down and he's let his country and his teammates down, hasn't he? That was a really, really silly thing to do. Possibly slightly provoked by Torresides. I think he might have sort of put the ball into his midriff very gently, though. But there's no excuse for that retaliation.
No. It was nothing. Torresides did nothing particularly untoward. He was shielding the ball as the ball went out. He was holding him off, and then he caught the ball as it went over the touchline because he knew it was his throw, and then he held the ball as the Nigerian player approached him. Yeah, very poor. Shame.
It is a shame for the Nigerians. They have the lead, though, here in the Free State Stadium in Bloemfontein. They do have a 1-goal advantage. Uche's 15th minute goal, but they are now down to 10 men. The man advantage to the Greeks, and almost immediately they make it count because very cleverly Gekas allowed that ball to run all the way through to the far post, and incredibly supporting just about 8 yards out was the fullback Torresides. He couldn't get a decent contact.
Once again, that stock-in-trade ball of that Greek side, that deep diagonal ball. It's as though Ray Hargel has been talking about it for days on end. I don't see any other means of them getting round the back of the Nigerian side. What it does mean is for the rest of the game, Odaya, the right back, Yobo and Shitu certainly will have to keep their shape right close together at centre back, and Taiwo won't be making too many overlaps. The back four will have to keep its shape for the rest of the game, and they'll hope now, a man short, that they'll get a break, and maybe Yakubu or Odemwinga's pace will snatch them a second goal so that they can breathe a little bit easier. But now, if the Greek side has got anything about them at all, and they really want to push on, the second game, defeat staring them in the face, this should be where every player really gets hold of the game and makes people in Athens who have had such a bad time recently with their money problems, should make them proud. They should really be going forward and really going to try and take this game. The manager must gamble now, must gamble.
Well, here's an early switch by the Greeks.
That's a good one.
We're having a 36th minute substitute.
It's a great one, in fact. It's our number 19 that's gone off, and Samaras has come on. Simple Samaras, and very perplexing Papastopoulos has gone off.
Papastathopoulos, he's gone off. Bye-bye Socrates, and good riddance. Georgios Samaras is on. The Celtic man, ex-Manchester City, of course, so that's the first change, and early change, and I know we're pleased from the the name point of view, but in just a moment, when the ball next goes out of play, I'll ask David Pleat how that might affect the game tactically, rather than just hopefully improving the pronunciation from our commentary team here on 5 Live. The ball has been squared by the number 21, Katsaranis, out to the far side. Rare mistake from Torresides on the far side, allows the ball to run off his toe, and it's a throw in to Greece.
Yeah, lack of concentration by the left back, Torresides. I think we'll go into a back 4 now. Vintra, Kyriakos, Padopoulos and Torresides, but most importantly Samaras will go and play high on the left, and he'll be looking once again for those crosses, which is so often played by the Greeks into that area. Akas is up there on the centre position, and we'll see far more of Solis now pushing forward. Salpingidis, the quick one, he's gone on to the right, so it's very much now 4-3-3. And for Nigeria's part, a man short. They've just left the Yakubu up front.
Well, Greece had what they thought might have been half a chance there. Samaras went down in the box. He wasn't taken out, though, by the defender Adaya, and the referee has just given a goal kick. I mean, I think Greece did have to change it around. I've got to say, so far, having seen their first game, we both saw their first game in Port Elizabeth on Saturday, and having seen 38 minutes now, they are utterly pedestrian, aren't they?
Yes, well, Enyima, who played so well against the skills and wizardry of Argentina, he will have had a very quiet first half, and he will be delighted at the moment.
Vintra pulls the ball back, and then the ball's crossed in towards Salpingidis, and his header is well wide, and it's behind for another goal kick. And I think this might now be the pattern for the remainder of this match, the second half, the last 6 or 7 minutes of this half, because Nigeria with 10 men are being pushed back. It's whether the Greeks are clever enough to unpick the lock, if you like.
Yeah, strong defending needed by Yobo and Shitu, and I'm sure we shall see that. And of course they've got to beat the goalkeeper, who was so good against Argentina, but today in this lovely sunshine he'd probably feel he's on holiday.
Karagounis coming forward for Greece, who trail here on 5 Live. They trail to Nigeria by 1-0. Nigeria, who lost their opening game to Argentina by 1-0. That's cleverly worked. Here's an opportunity. Good save from Enyema. Really good save. Salpingidis with a clear-sided goal. And Enyema has had very little to do, having been very busy against Argentina. Nothing to do in this game. But what he has done there, he's done it really well. Very alert. And he's just pushed a looping cross over the bar for a corner.
Yeah, a great pass that led to Salpingidis' chance, no question. Enyema came very quickly, blocked it. When the ball came back in also, the goalkeeper was alive to tip that ball over the top and concede another corner, which we know Captain Karagounis will take.
Yeah, and that ball's well outside. In fact, the linesman on this near side says, no, you can't have it that far outside the little D. And then the ball's played into this near side and volleyed behind by Katsaranis. He did have half a yard of space there, but he couldn't get his foot round the ball, and it's out of play. Another goal kick to Nigeria.
Yeah, Nigeria holding firm. It was a lovely pass. 2 good passes, nice soft angled passes, which left the chance to Salpingidis going into the 6-yard box. Goalkeeper came very quickly and blocked, but give Greece credit there. 2 fine passes which led to the winger getting that effort at goal.
Here comes Samaras. We're in the last 5 minutes of this first half as Georgios Samaras goes through. Tries to play the ball into the penalty area to Salpingidis. Well blocked though by Yobo. Ziolis wants it. He's got Vintra on this near side. Doesn't use him. Instead, puts it out to the wingman Salpingidis on this near side. He tries to cross. Good defending again, this time from the fullback Taiwo, the man who plays for Marseille. And behind for yet another corner, and there's a lot of Greek pressure now on the Nigerian defence.
Yeah, they're winning the corner count, but they won that hands down against South Korea.
Karagounis to take this corner. Remember, the Greeks lost 2-0 against South Korea, and they're losing here by 1-0. That's dangerous, and it's been hacked off the line.
Well, he should have scored. Samaras, I think it was, should have scored. Came to him quickly, hit it into the ground.
Here they come again. Ball knocked into the penalty area. Dixon the Tuhu with a curious header straight up into the air, but his goalkeeper bails him out there, and Enyema with a very confident catch. And now there's an opportunity, perhaps going forward, for the Nigerians. One of their players is down. That wasn't a foul though. The referee got that right. Karagounis got the ball, so they're down to 9 at the moment. Cross comes in towards Salpingidis, can't reach it. Behind for a goal kick. It's Haruna who is down. He will require some attention. He is hurt. I don't think he's play acting, but he wasn't fouled.
What a chance that was. Completely free in the 6-yard box. Samaras hit it down. It was Haruna who got the ball away off the line. Well defended Nigeria's. 2 on the line for the corner kicks. They know that Greece have a lot of corner kicks. But there's calm in that Nigerian defence, and Samaras won't get a better chance. So they've had 2 chances in the last 4 minutes, and they should have scored both. Sarangidis denied by a brilliant goalkeeper, and Samaras denied by his own poor technical quality.
Well, it was Haruna who was injured before. He's the man who hacked the ball off the line from Samaras. Haruna is up, but then Danny Shitu was down, but now he's up. I think he wanted some treatment, actually, but the referee, the Colombian referee, actually pulled him to his feet, which is, in fact, no mean feat. Because, as I said earlier, really, really big bloke, Danny Shitu. Well, they were defensively very robust in qualifying. They only conceded 5 goals in 12 qualifying games, the Nigerians, and that's the sort of tenacity that they're going to have to show in the last couple of minutes of this half and the whole of the second half. If you're just tuning into 5 Live, earlier Argentina beat South Korea by 4-1. Here Nigeria are leading the Greeks by 1-0, but they're down to 10 men, and they've been on the back foot ever since the foolish sending off of Keita. That ball was intended for Salpingidis. It won't reach him. And Katsaranis can't cut it out either, so it's cleared by Taiwo, and then down to this near side. The Greeks have it back. They're conceding a lot of possession now, and Nigeria, they've got everybody back inside their own half as Kyriakos plays it out to the far side to Karagounis, who's switched back to the left hand side. Here's his fullback in support, Torresidis. Back to Karagounis again. Ziolis has it, the ex-Werder Bremen player, now at Siena in Italy. Good ball into the penalty area. Teed up for Salpingidis. Takes a wicked deflection and in. It's the equaliser. It's the Greeks' first ever goal at the World Cup finals. An element of fortune, really well struck by Salpingidis. But what an unfortunate touch from Nigeria's point of view. Off the heel of a defender and in. And it's 1-1.
Yeah, they couldn't stop that one. I mean, it came to him nice and straightforward for him to strike. Seemed to cut across the ball a little bit, and it took that wicked deflection. In the first place, it was a good ball by Sordis. When it was laid back, I don't know if it was Taiwo, was it Shitu that finally deflected it? It's
Haruna.
Difficult. Haruna.
It was Haruna. There's nothing he could do about it. He was just trying to defend it. Salpingidis really put his foot through that ball, and Haruna desperately unlucky. Do you know what? Although he hit it really well, I'm not sure it was even going in.
No, and it was Haruna's right foot, and that was the goalkeeper beaten, Enyima. Well, that'll make a game. It'll certainly make the Greeks come. They did change their system when they brought Samaras on and took the centre-back off. They started cautiously with man marking at the back and a spare man with a 3-man back line. They've gone to a 3-man front line now, whereas Nigeria 4-4-1 with Yakubu up on his own. And we're going to see plenty of crosses. We're going to see plenty of corners, no doubt. How much subtlety are we going to see? Are they going to prize the Nigerian back 4 out of position to manoeuvre chances?
Well, the Greek coach, of course, is the German Otto Rehhagel. King Otto, they call him in Greece, after he masterminded the tactical triumph that was Euro 2004. As we move into stoppage time, and there will be 2 minutes of added time in this first half. Tactically, they've improved an awful lot of the Greeks. It's not just since the Nigerians went down to 10 men, it's since he made that switch, bringing off Samaras and taking off the extra defensive midfielder or defender, Papastathopoulos. There is a free kick to Nigeria, though, 20 seconds into added time. It's 1 apiece here then on 5 Live in Bloemfontein. Greece 1, Nigeria 1. Atuhu is the man who was fouled. Maybe just a rare opportunity, because they've been backpedaling virtually constantly since the half-hour mark. And it will be Taiwo to knock this one into the box. They are making a wall. This is 40 yards out, so I'd be very surprised if he's shot, but you never know. He's got 5 in a line to aim for on the edge of the penalty area. Here comes Taiwo. I think he is trying to shoot. Well, he is, straight at the goalkeeper Zorvas, who also played well on Saturday. He was the only decent Greek player really on Saturday. And now Greece are trying to attack, counter-attack. The ball's played through the middle to Gekas. Can't reach him because it's cut out, but Karagounis has it back. They're starting to play a little now, Greece. Ziolis. Karagounis wants it, but instead they play it to this near side, and this is Vintra. Vintra crosses with the right foot, and Enyima comes. Really good catch from Vincent Enyima, the man who scored those 9 penalties for his club side Hapoel Tel Aviv. over 50 caps for his country, and he's been as safe as houses in this game as he was in the first match against Argentina. Nothing he could do with a goal today, nothing that he could do with a goal at the weekend either. Just about 15 seconds remaining in this first half. Ball's played out to this near side, left-hand side to Uche. We've not seen very much of him. He did score the goal for the Nigerians. Now it's Dixon Atuhu. He's been quite quiet too, but they've not seen much of the ball, to be fair, haven't the Nigerians. And there goes the referee's whistle for half-time. So Nigeria off to a perfect start. Uche's free kick. Odemwingie deceiving the goalkeeper by feigning to get a touch. He didn't actually touch it, so it's Uche's goal. But the silly sending off, really, of Sani Keita on the half hour. And that's been very, very costly for the Greeks, because Salpingidis has equalised with that deflected goal just before half-time. It's 1-1 at the break. David Pleat, how would you sum up that first
Well,
half?
certainly plenty of incident. We were looking and worried that we might see a dull game here today. It's not been dull. We've had that fortuitous goal when Ulch's free kick just managed to deceive the goalkeeper. Then the stupidity of Keita on the far touchline when he put his leg into the thigh of the Greek left back. Good goal by Salpingidis, or at least a good strike after he'd missed a chance and Samaras had missed a chance. Greeks beginning to get more of the play. Yakubu up on his own. We can expect the second half where the Greeks are pressing, and Yanima, who was so important against Argentina, could be vital to their hopes this afternoon. He's going to have to do some work in the goals, I would think.
All to play for then in the second half at the break here in Bloemfontein. Greece 1, Nigeria 1, as I hand you back to Mark.
They've just kicked off in Bloemfontein. Here's Jackie Oatley.
We have, with a rather optimistic strike from quite some range in the opening few seconds or so from the Nigerians. 1-1 as we start the second half, and just one change to let you know about. Chinedu Ogbuke Obasi has come on for Nigeria, who are down to 10 men, remember, after Kaito was sent off in the first half. Peter Odemwingie, the player to make way. I'll run through the new lineup of both sides in just a moment or so, as Greece, all in white, attacking the goal away to our left. Hatziolis finds Karagounis in the centre. Now Georgios Samaras of Celtic, who had a glorious opportunity in the first half. Now a decent opportunity to cross the ball in from the left-hand side. It is played in, but headed away easily by Taiwo. As the ball comes back in again and dealt with well by Enyema, the goalkeeper. So the two sides for Greece. Sorvas in goal, a back four of Vintra, Papadopoulos, Kyriakos and Torosidis. A midfield of Salpingidis, Katsouranis, Karagounis and Siolis, with Gekas and Samaras a substitute up front for Nigeria. Enyema in goal, a back four from right to left of Odia, Yobo, Shitu and Taiwo. A midfield of Haruna, Atuhu, Uche and Ogbuke Obasi, with Yakubu up front as the header comes in from near the penalty spot for Greece. Karagounis with a header, perhaps should have done better. It's a decent whipped in cross from the right hand side, a little bit too high for him. He's not the tallest of players, and he just spun off the top of his head and high over the bar.
One swallow doesn't make a summer. Lovely swallow dive, but poor technical ability to get that ball down as it came in. Once again, a deep right-sided cross. I'm sure that Yobo and Shitu, if they're as good at defenders as we think they are, will enjoy the headwork that they're going to be having to use this afternoon to repel some of these cross balls. Greece have to take advantage of this extra man. They'll have to play a little bit further up the field. The back players compress the space a little and use the width.
That's the voice of David Pleat with us on 5 Live, the former Tottenham Sheffield Wednesday manager, amongst others, of course. As we have a free kick to Nigeria on this near side, the right back, the brilliantly named Odia, to take it. Be better if he was a goalkeeper. We'll accept him being a defender, though. It's virtually on the halfway line on this near side. Nigeria attacking the goal away to our right in this second half. Odia plays the free kick in towards the penalty area. There's Shitu is up from the back. And it's still Nigeria. The danger not clear. The cross comes in from the left-hand side and it's tipped over by the goalkeeper. Sorvas had to be alert to that. Had Yakubu in the centre, and he's tipped it over for a corner.
Brilliant play by Haroun. threatening to come inside, then hitting the byline, left foot, a little dink, and the goalkeeper circumspectly just tips it over the bar as he's reeling backwards towards his line. Another corner, but this time to Nigeria.
1-1, taking short over the far side in towards Yobo. Chip back in towards the far post. It's Shitu's there, he's beaten his man, no foul. Oh, and it's Danny Shitu on the edge of the 6-yard box. He's claiming that should have been, is he claiming a penalty, is it? Either way, it's a free kick to Greece.
Yeah, Shitu headed that ball back across the goal, but I think the assistant had already blown for an infringement. He said that Shitu was pushing as he steered that ball back across the goal with his head. The players played on, but Shitu's just got to keep his hands down if he's climbing for balls at that back post. The standard, in my view, of refereeing and the assistants on the touchline has been very high in this series so far.
Not been too many controversial decisions. Greece now in possession. As they're coming forwards with a captain with a strike from quite some distance. Karagounis with it. He's claiming it's a deflection, I think, on its way through, but it wasn't. It was off target.
Well, he went
it's a
off,
long way out.
He went off at half-time against South Korea. He's on the field pulling the strings, the captain and the main playmaker. That was a 45-yard shot that reared just over the bar of Enyima.
So a reminder that Nigeria down to 10 men after Kaita sent off in the 33rd minute of the first half. They were 1-0 up at the time thanks to Kalo Uche's free kick, which had deceived everybody. Looked to have taken a touch from Odem Wingi, but it didn't. It went all the way through. And Salpingidis has been credited with the goal. Greece's first ever in World Cup finals, in this their second finals. And now Greece on the attack with a cross from the left-hand side, headed up in the air by Yobo. Shitu's there to head away from the edge of his own penalty area. And that's a foul by Vintra on the far side and a free kick to Nigeria.
Most stupid free kick given away by Vintra, pushing there when they had the play penned into the Nigerian half. And Nigeria won't be in a hurry to take the free kicks that are conceded by Greece. It's important from Greece's point of view. When they win free kicks, they've got to move the ball quickly and get on with the game. Every second is going to be valuable to them if they're going to push through this game and win this game, which will give them a great opportunity going into the last game, even though it's going to be mighty difficult against the, so far, best team perhaps, Argentina.
A reminder that Argentina won 4-1 earlier this afternoon with a victory over South Korea. It wasn't that straightforward for most of the game. It was 2-1 at half-time, and they run out comfortable winners in the very end to take maximum points. The first team to have done that so far. Now here's Georgios Samaras for Greece. They're attacking the goal away to our left. Samaras again. Played wide over to the far side to Vintra. Just manages to keep the ball in play, but he's lost out. Now Nigeria looking to break. It's played up to Yakubu and the far side up against Papadopoulos, who slides in and puts the ball out of play for a throw-in.
Papadopoulos quite comfortable there as he tracked Yakubu in that inside left channel, stride for stride. The Greek winning out in the end. Yakubu might, through a little bit of injury problems last year, just lost that little bit of acceleration, that little bit of zip over those 30-40 yard runs. Such a good goal scorer in the Premiership at both Portsmouth and Middlesbrough. We just wonder if his days at Everton now are coming towards the end.
1-1, Taiwo of Nigeria, the left back, to take this throw-in. Almost level with the penalty area. He's giving himself as much of a run-up as he can. In the end, he opts to play it short to Kalu Uche. Back in by Taiwo, and he's totally overhit it. And it's behind for a goal kick. And
in the process of hitting that ball into the centre, Taiwo's hurt his groin, I think. He's gone down, injured. I think he will have to replace. No one was near him. But quite clearly I saw him hold his groin after he played that ball wildly over the bar. And I think he's overstretched. And I think it's one of those awful groin injuries, one of course which England suffered with Ledley King. Certainly is.
And Taiwo smacking the ground in frustration. He's in quite a lot of pain. It seems clear that he's going to have to be replaced. Nigeria's make it the second substitution of the game. It's a beautiful setting here in Bloemfontein as the sun's starting to go down. There's just a small pocket of light on the far side, lighting up some South African supporters. Very colourful scene as Taiwo receives some treatment and he just hobbles over to the far side. It looks as though his game has come to an end, and you hope from his point of view, not his World Cup, but if he's done his groin, then quite possibly that'll be the case. But he's receiving treatment over the far side and no substitution has yet to be made. Plenty of noise being made by the supporters inside this 45,000 capacity Free State Stadium. The big football fans round here. Bloemfontein Celtic is their top division side, as Greece now coming forwards on the far side. The cross in towards Gekas in the centre. Good challenge though by Danny Shitu. Slides the ball behind for a corner.
I'm shocked that Nigeria haven't made a quick substitution. They're playing at the moment with 8 outfield players and the goalkeeper. They conceded a corner. Taiwo's being led off the field. Lagerbäck seems not too concerned. He's in his technical area, arms folded. He doesn't want to concede from this.
Corner driven in towards the centre and headed away by Yakubu. Back there helping out his defence. Played back in by Karagounis. In towards Samaras and is headed down by Kyriakos, and he puts his hands to his face. He knows he should have done better, but the two Greek players getting in each other's way. And it was straight at the goalkeeper in the end. As Kyriakos got a clear header on it, but he's perhaps put off by Samaras.
Good leap. He just got the jump on Papadopoulos. And as the ball came down, the goalkeeper was equal to it. I think the goalkeeper's going to be busy in this half.
He's coming forwards again, is Gekas, but he's offside, as eventually Nigeria prepared to take the substitution. It's a good couple of minutes since Taiwo came off, and it was obvious he couldn't continue as he wasn't even receiving treatment. He's just walked all the way around the outside from the far side, and the substitution will be made with Uwe Echilele coming on in place of the stricken Taiwo, who you think would be a decent signing perhaps for an English Premier League side. Is that right, David?
It's possible. The young left back coming on plays at Rennes in France. We'll see how he copes with that position, but I was very surprised that the manager seemed reluctant to make the change. It was so clear that the guy had hurt his groin. Maybe we've got the advantage there. We're looking down, we can see quite clearly, but when the managers are at ground level, they can't see so clearly. It was right on the far side, but it was clear to us. He immediately clasped his groin after he played that ball over the crossbar, and that's a shame for Taiwo, but now we'll see how his replacement, Echele, comes and does a good job, hopefully, for them at the left back. Very tall player.
The 22-year-old Rennes defender winning his 13th cap for Nigeria. Greece, though, with the man advantage after Kaito was sent off in the first half. Now Greece in possession. The omnipresent sound of the vuvuzelas in the background. I haven't seen a kuduzela yet, which is like a vuvuzela, but instead of a straight horn as a cross is played in and over the head of everyone and behind. The kuduzela is like the kudu animal, has a curly horn. But we haven't seen one of those just yet. Vuvuzelas no doubt will be in evidence in the English leagues next season, if they're allowed in the grounds. I mean, you can barely take a water bottle into grounds these days, or a camera, let alone anything else.
Yeah, it's a talking point, but hopefully not too much of a talking point. The Africans celebrating this World Cup as they only know how to. This is their tradition, this is the way they are. I would like to see some songs, but we do have magnificent rhythm of the Africans out here, but of course they haven't shown it on the field yet, unfortunately. We were very disappointed last night with South Africa's performance. I know the country as a whole were very dispirited by their lack of a goal threat in the game, and of course the manager, as is par for the course, often he blamed the referee.
Yeah, that's poor. They really were not very good at all last night. The whole nation very flat, watching breakfast television this morning. Very critical supporters that were on there as Greece lose possession with Vintra on the far side, picked up by Kalu Uche, who put Nigeria in front.
I thought I heard an Alan Green phone in this morning and on the Nigerians. I'm sure it was the same type of thing. Everyone was moaning about the manager and the players.
Yeah, about the fact that they've spent a lot of money on their manager, wondering whether a South African could have done any better. Now here come Greece over the far side with Salpingidis, who scored the equaliser for Greece, their only ever World Cup goal in only their second World Cup finals. And Salpingidis has been fouled over the far side. Yeah. Decision going in favour of the European nation.
Yeah, Shitu getting drawn to the touchline then to try and cope with Salpingidis, and his mighty frame pulls to the ground the rather miniature Salpingidis, small, lively.
Now an opportunity here for Greece, a free kick just a few inches in from the touchline, played in by Karagounis, headed away though at the near post, picked up by Vintra in a central position in front of the centre circle. He plays the ball forwards and Gekas is there, and what an opportunity! One-on-one with the keeper, but a fantastic save by Vincent Yema. Now here come the Nigerians on the counter-attack. Abasi Ekbu, and now here's shots for Yakubu, save at the other end. Oh, and an open goal missed by the substitute of Buke Abasi. He may well put his hands to his face, because that was a glorious opportunity for Nigeria, down to 10 men to take the lead. Yakubu one-on-one with the keeper. Sorvas made the save. He pushed it straight into the pass of the substitute, who's only been on for a couple of minutes, and Chinedu Buke Abasi misses a wonderful opportunity to give Nigeria the lead.
Well, an incredible 10 seconds of action there. A save which should never have been made, but give credit to Enyima. An open goal really for the Greek side after an awful defensive mistake. Nigeria broke away. They had a 3v2. It was passed to Abasi as it came, rebounded to him. Two unbelievable chances, one for Greece, one for Nigeria. There should have been 2 goals for absolute certainties. They were both absolute certainties and failed us. What failures.
Now here come Greece once again. Well, suddenly this game has really livened up in the second half. A lot more space after the sending off of Kaita, and the substitutions as well have made a difference. Question mark perhaps of offside. But the ball dropped to Gekas, and 8 yards out, one-on-one with Enyema, who did fantastically well in the first game against Argentina, keeping the score down to just 1-0, and then the break on the counter-attack. Fantastic save by the keeper, Sorvas, sticking out his left hand, but he couldn't help but push it straight into the pass of the substitute.
It was Yobo at the other end who made that awful error that headed it into the path of Gekas.
We played an hour of this game in Bloemfontein. It's turned into quite a decent contest as well, and as things stand, Argentina will become the first side to qualify for the last 16. But here comes Samaras, 30 yards out. Let's fly well wide of the right hand post.
Bit ambitious by the ex-Herenveen player who went to Manchester City, didn't do too well, moved on to Celtic, found goals difficult to get at Celtic. Technically quite a good player, but someone who has failed to live up to the reputation that he had as a young player. His father was technical director in Herenveen and sold for quite good money to Manchester City, but that club has advanced considerably since then, and he's been superseded by far more glamorous and more effective players up front.
I tell you, by the way, that Alexandros Siolis was booked for a trip in the build-up to that Nigeria chance, but here comes Samaras once again, 20 yards out. He's forced wide though. Now here's Torosidis, the left back, but a good challenge though by Danny Shitu, who's done well in this game, having not played at all for Bolton. I've mentioned a couple of times, but he does have quite some bearing, bearing in mind the others have far advanced fitness levels. But Greece now, a man up. The scoreline still 1-1 on 5 Live Sport. There's Papadopoulos, plays the ball wide over to the far right-hand side to Vintra, back in field to Siolis. Has a little bit of space. Nigerians sitting deep, wondering what the Greeks can throw at them. Here's the captain, Karagounis, back in field to Siolis. Tries to chip the ball forwards, but straight into the chest of the tall, athletic Atuhu. And now Nigeria looking to bring the ball away. 17 minutes played in the second half, 1-0. Here comes the player who had that glorious opportunity a moment ago, but somehow put it wide with a goal gaping. Agbuki Abasi plays the ball into the centre, left-footed, cleared away though by Papadopoulos, picked up now by Samaras inside the centre circle. He's bundled over, was he, by Atuhu? Play on, says the referee. Fair challenge. Nigeria now down to 10 men coming forwards. Kalu Uche. Here's Haruna, plays the ball in towards the feet of Yakubu near the corner flag over the far side. Keeps it in, but he needs some support. And he has it in the shape of Uche. A little bit of space. Plays it to this near right-hand side, to the right back, Adir, in an advanced position. 5 yards outside the penalty area. Good cross from him. At least it would have been if there was somebody standing on the edge of the 6-yard box on the far side, and it goes harmlessly away to safety.
Well, you have to say, as the temperature drops, the tempo of the game picks up, and the game in the last few minutes has been tremendous ebb and flow. Won't get better chances. I feel that Gaykas certainly should have maximised his opportunity, golden opportunity. Goalkeeper came very quickly, and then when they broke at the other end, could have been the defining moment. Nigeria would have had then a lead to hang on to, but unfortunately for them, Abassi failed when it was probably easier to score.
Well, Greece really need to find some kind of winner in the remaining minutes of this game, bearing in mind they're up against Argentina on Tuesday in Polokwane. Free kick taken quickly in a central position. Long range effort. Optimistic one by Siolis, and it's charged down. Now here come Nigeria again on the counter-attack. Yakubu in the centre circle. Ogbuki Abassi just in between his legs, and the break comes to nothing.
Might have lost a little bit of confidence there. Rather a silly ball to play there. Tried a little back heel on the halfway line instead of keeping it simple. It's not easy for the Nigerians. They've got Yakubu up front, who has had his critics for some of the work rate that he puts in at Everton at times. He can be a laboured player, and other occasions a very vibrant player, but he's up on his own. There's a lot of work that he has to do. He has to really run himself silly to try and help Nigeria mount some attacks. Almost up there as an isolated figure. 3 Greeks against him. Not easy for him, but he has to really show some spirit and some drive.
Yakubu didn't have a great season with Everton last season. Plenty of injuries, of course, but he ended the season fairly strongly with 4 goals in his last 11 appearances, 5 of those as a substitute. But they'll need something from him now, with his side down to 10 men. Now here's Atuhu. Finds the right back, Odeer, with the dreadlocks tied back. Still Odeer. Shuffles away from Samaras. Tries to find his teammate Uche on the far side, and it comes off the goal scorer Salpingidis with throw in to Nigeria. 20 minutes played of the second half. It's a really fantastic setting now, with the sun having gone down in the background. It's been a beautiful day here in Bloemfontein, in the heart of the Free State province in the centre of South Africa. Will we find a winner though? Here's Kyriakos of Liverpool with his hair tied back in a ponytail. Leaves it for his left back, Torosidis. And he gives it to his midfielder, Katsaranis. Pedestrian pace to this move as Greece cross the halfway line. A bit more urgency injected by the captain, Karagounis. Now played wide to the far side, but Vintra was foxed, and it's cleared away upfield and out of play.
He showed a lack of bravery, Vintra. Never went in for that ball. Completely ducked out. But maybe he was playing for the throw-in, which they take. They'll be pleased with that. So they pin Nigeria back, defending on the edge of their 18-yard box as Yobo whacks that ball to safety, to the halfway line area.
Can you see a winner in this game, David?
Oh, I think so. The way the game's going, and it's more likely to be Greece purely on pressure. I mean, if they break, which they can do, they shouldn't get caught on the break, Greece. They were caught against South Korea poorly. They nearly got caught there where we had that massive miss of Abassi, but they should not get caught on the break, playing with the extra man. They have that insurance policy at the back now, always 2v1 against Yakubu, and they're having the main possession. It's just a matter, can they manoeuvre a chance?
Siolis lets fly from long range. Straight into the chest, though, of Yakubu as the ball's of Yobo, now played up to Yakubu on the far side, who allows the ball to go out of play, takes a throw in quickly. Nigeria, a man down, but it's still 1-1 with a quarter of the game remaining. As Ogbuki Abassi can't keep the ball, and it's given away to Greece. A long raking pass forwards. Salpingidis can't control it, and it drops now to him on the edge of the penalty area. Salpingidis has Gaykas in the centre if he can find him, but Yobo gets there first and heads behind for a corner, and we have reached the midway point of the second half. I wonder whether we'll find a winner. David Oates can tell us.
Well, we shall see. 1-1. You have to give Nigeria credit for their defensive display with 10 men, and they've more defending to do here from this Greek corner. Greece have pushed 5 players into the penalty area. Nigeria with everybody bar Yakubu in the box. He's taken short to Salpingidis, and Samaras, oh, what a really good save again from Enyema. He's had a great World Cup. Ball's turned back in towards the 6-yard box, and a good clearance from Haruna. Just lashes the ball downfield and out of play for a throw-in. Another good save. I tell you what, he might get in the World Cup team, him, Vincent Enyema.
Well, he will only, of course, if Nigeria get a long run in the competition, but certainly in these first 2 games he's made 1 or 2 marvellous saves. The save from Gakis was brilliant. That was a flying save to tip away at the left-hand side of his goal from a header. Came from a short corner, a little bit of imagination at last from the Greeks when they take a corner. I think they've had more corners than any other team so far in the World Cup competition. It'll be interesting to see the stats after the game.
Might be a chance here for Nigeria on the break. David Pleat with us on 5 Live. We're in Bloemfontein in the Free State Stadium. It's Greece 1, Nigeria 1. Nigeria with just 1 in the box. That's the man who had that awful miss, Abassi. Howler of a miss, really. And now Katsaranis emerges with the ball in midfield for Greece. They're attacking from right to left in all white in this second half. Here's Ziolis. Crosses the halfway line. It's Samaras, the ex-Manchester City man. Now at Celtic, of course, but hasn't found things particularly easy up in Glasgow. I think he's just scored 1 goal in about his last 19 games for Celtic. Here's Samaras once more. He had a glorious chance in this game as well in the first half, but made a mess of that. Squared to Ziolis. Now to Torosidis on this near side for the Greeks. Good looking cross in, but well headed away on the edge of the penalty area by the substitute left back Echeyili, and then the ball's played in, and there's an offside flag up against Gekas, and I think once more that the linesman has probably got that correct as well. The ball actually rattled the crossbar. He was stretching, he volleyed it against the bar, but to be fair, the linesman's flag had been up for a while. I tell you what, it's a very close decision, and he's probably got it just about right, but they're ever so close and ever so tight, and very, very difficult for the linesman to spot that. Yeah,
excellent. I think it's the Bolivian assistant. We're just seeing a replay of the wonderful save by the goalkeeper. Really did stretch. Very good technique.
Gekas plays it into Salpingidis, right hand edge of the penalty area. His first touch is a poor one. He crosses, it's blocked again by Echeyili, and then it's out on the far side for yet another Greek corner.
Well, the goalkeeper made a fantastic save from Gekas. He's made a fantastic save there from the header. We had that Samaras chance in the first half where he should have buried the ball.
Karagounis then to take another corner. Back edge of the penalty area this time. There's a clash of heads. Samaras and Yobo go down. Play on. Ziolis fires it in. Oh, and the goalkeeper spilt it. And it's turned in. And has the linesman's flag stayed down? Yes, it has. Well, David Pleat saying offside, but the goal has been given. It's going to stand. And I think it's Torosidis who's got it. He's been buried by a number of his Greek teammates, but Torosidis, I think, is the man who has put that rebound in. There are players down because there was that clash of heads I mentioned, but it's 2-1 to Greece, and would you believe it, after all that, it was a goalkeeping mistake from Enyema. He spilt what was a fairly tame shot, and Torosidis has followed up.
Will you believe it came from a corner? It was the midfield player who took the shot. I think the assistant was wise to keep his flag down. The goalkeeper made a save just inside his 6-yard box, but there was Johnny on the spot after the good shot by Tosalis, and as the goalkeeper mishandled it a little bit in the Rob Green style the other night, it was Torosidis who came in and poked the ball over the line with his right foot. And Yima complaining to the referee about the wisdom of allowing that goal, but Greece in front. Greece, the whipping boys in this group after we saw them play South Korea. Awful. I just wonder there, it was a very similar attempt to pick up the ball by an outstanding goalkeeper as what Green did in the first game. And there'll be question marks there for sure about the ball, unfortunately.
Well, there will, and I have to say, having seen the replay, I don't see the question mark about the ball. I think the goalkeeper's just made a straightforward mistake, and if there's one person in a way who doesn't deserve to make a mistake there, it is Enyema, because he has been fantastic in this tournament.
But for some reason, David, he's gone down and his body is away, he's not fully behind the ball. His body is to the left-hand side, and the ball has come on slightly to the right. Now, how does he misjudge it like that? How did Rob Green let that ball go through his hands without getting his whole body and his knees and his body shape behind the ball? It just seems strange.
Well, Greece, if it stays like this, have given themselves a chance. There's another Nigerian player down injured over on the far side. I just wonder, David Pleat, whether Lagerbäck, the Nigerian coach, might think of a forward change, maybe taking Yakubu off and bringing the pacier Obafemi Martins on.
Well, you know, if he wants to rescue the game, I think he's got to go and try and play three at the back and have another partner for Yakubu and maybe play a slightly longer game. You know, most of the teams play composed, they play through midfield. The Greeks, in fact, are quite a direct team. They play a lot of crosses, they play a little bit more direct than most of the teams. But from Nigeria's point of view at the moment, you know, Greece will be happy. They'll be happy now. They'll go into defensive mode and they'll try and sit on this. We have an injury as well, which is terribly unfortunate. The left back, we talked about the groin injury for Taiwo. It now looks like a substitute left back has got a hamstring injury.
I think he's pulled his hamstring, yeah. It's Echiyeli, who is the substitute left back, because the first choice left back, as David says, has already gone off. I'm not sure whether Echiyeli is going to make way here. He's going to perhaps try to come back on. They were unbelievably slow in making that other substitution. I don't think they're going to make that mistake this time around.
It was quite a fast shot by Siolis that the goalkeeper mishandled, but even then it was, or appeared to be, straight at him. And give credit to the left back, Torosidis, the guy that's on a yellow card in today's game. Well, at the moment they'll be dancing in Athens. Better go to the banks quick.
Obafemi Martins is in fact going to come on in just a moment, so there will be a defensive reshuffle. They might play three at the back possibly. Karagounis with a shot from distance, and that whistles past the post, about half a yard past the post, and the Greeks are saying Enyema got a touch to that, but the linesman doesn't agree, neither does the referee. It's a goal kick.
Fabulous shot.
It was a great shot. It's 2-1 to Greece. We have exactly 15 minutes remaining, and remember, Nigeria down to 10 men from the 33rd minute. That's good play from Uche on the far side for Nigeria. Plays the ball into Haruna, a two who wants it. Instead it's played forward towards Yakubu. What they give for a moment of magic from Yakubu, and that was an excellent effort just wide of the post.
You know, isn't it strange, Dave and Jackie, we came here with such low expectations of this game. We were cold last night, we didn't think we had too much to look forward to, we thought we got a short straw. My word, it's been an interesting game, this one. So exciting. Lots of shots, some great goalkeeping and some horrible misses. What do you want?
You were cold last night. I wasn't cold. I was watching I was in the Spain game in Durban.
Don't talk about it. My wife might be listening. She said take an extra coat.
I know you and Jackie were cold. You've told me. I was up at 4:30. Balls with Torosidis. Don't worry. You're looking very sheepish. You were cold separately. I do understand that. Don't worry. Torosidis plays the ball back into his own half and to his captain Karagounis, and then there's a long ball out to the far side to Papadopoulos. Infield to Salpangidis, and then back out. Greece are now keeping possession well against the 10 men of Nigeria. There's going to be a shot from distance from Karagounis. Again, the goalkeeper spills the ball on it. It wasn't a bad save, to be fair, and it's turned back in by Gekas, blocked by Yobo. It's a corner.
Good save by the goalkeeper. The Greeks have come alive. That's the man that I've had a little go at during the games. The captain, Karagounis, he's having a much better second half. Another terrific effort. Well saved by the goalkeeper. Unable to clasp it into his grasp. And it's another corner for Greece, I have to say. I'm going to look at the figures afterwards. I think they've got it well into double figures on corners.
Here's Karagounis once more. Played in towards Kyriakos at the front edge of the 6-yard box, but cleared by Dixon Atuhu initially. Ziolis finds Salpingidis. Samaras wants it on the right flank. 2-1, the Greeks lead with 13 minutes to go. This would certainly set the group wide open in the sense of who would qualify, I think, with Argentina. Karagounis with the ball in. Oh, and then there's a poor touch from the substitute, Afolabi, but he rescues the course, doesn't give away the corner, but drilled back in by Samaras. Half cleared again by the Nigerians. Ziolis up in the air towards the penalty spot. Cleared this time by Danny Shitu, and then Katsaranis plays it out to Georgios Samaras. Good tackle coming in, but again the ball goes to the Greeks, who lead by the odd goal, but they have the man advantage as well. Ziolis prepared to play it backwards to Torosidis, and now across the back line, and Nigeria just cannot get the ball back at the moment.
No, poor Yakubu up front looks a forlorn figure. desperate for some help. I have to say, I think that the manager Lagenbeck must make a substitution. He must give him more help. They're losing the game. They've got nothing to lose. They've got to go for it. Okay, they could concede another goal. I'm sure the gamble's worth taking.
Nigeria with more defending to do. Here is Yobo on the far side. He plays a short ball to Afolabi, and then Yobo makes another mistake. He's been a little hesitant as Joseph Yobo this afternoon. He actually unwittingly set up the Greeks' first real chance of this second half. We're going to see a Greek substitution. The man coming off is Theophanis Gekas, as he did in the first game on Saturday, and he's being replaced, a very defensive substitution this, by Sotiris Ninis of Panathinaikos. He's a midfielder. Gekas is the centre forward.
Yeah, an interesting change, but with the extra man they can afford to make this without it affecting the team too much and even the team shape too much. The extra man will mean that they've got the advantage of being able to use the width of the field, stretch the Nigerians, make the Nigerians work, make the ball do the work. And at the moment, Ray Hargel is winning this battle, but I have to say, had Sal Keita not been sent off in that first half, it could have been a different story. The Nigerians have become a victim of their own indiscipline.
Greece in possession. The ball skims off the head of one of their substitutes, and Greece have the ball back. In fact, it's just crossed the byline there, and it will be a goal kick as we move almost to within 10 minutes of the end of this match. Greece leading Nigeria here by 2-1. They have the man advantage. It's really up to the Nigerians to try to get hold of the ball and try to string some passes together, and there might be one more chance for them in this game, but not if they can't get the ball back. And that's again what's happening now, because the Greeks they will be happy if they spend 10 minutes doing this, playing the ball along the back. They'll not be bothered about that. No,
I also think we should give Ray Hargel some credit here. You know, he changed the shape of the team very early. He started with 2-man markers at the back and a spare man with wing backs, and then when he saw the opportunity, they quickly changed, particularly when the man was sent off for Nigeria, and he went far more forceful, and since that time they have done much better.
Karagounis, who was, you may remember, a big part of the 04 team, the Euro 2004 winning team, although he didn't play in the final because he was suspended. He's played really well this afternoon. He's been much more prominent than in that first game where he was substituted at half-time. He's been all over the field. He's been on the right side, the left side. There's a long ball forward to Ninis out on the far side, and yet another Greek corner. Good defending, actually.
Yeah, the player I think has done quite well from the second half has been Salpingidis. His zippy forward play, I think, has been important to them.
Nigeria perhaps just sleeping here because that corner has been taken short, and Samaras almost got a header in, and then Kyriakos it is who volleys way over the crossbar.
Must have had 5 attempts at goal today. I remember a header in the first half high over the bar, a header clutched on the line by the goalkeeper. There's a wild and wonderful volley, which we'd probably expect from a centre-back, but certainly enjoyed his game as the Liverpool centre-back today.
Odia has it for Nigeria, the full-back who crosses the halfway line. Remember, it's 10 against 11. Keita sent off in the 33rd minute. At that stage, it was all going swimmingly for Nigeria. He was sent off, by the way, if you are just tuning in, for sort of kicking out at the Greek full-back Todosides. Todosides' reaction, to be honest, we saw it more clearly at half-time. It's way over on the far side of the pitch from where we are, but his reaction was actually a disgrace because he went down holding his face. He was actually kicked on his thigh. The Nigerians coming forward, and there's a long-range shot there from Haruna. Whistles past the left-hand post and didn't unduly trouble Zorvas, and there's a Greek player down and will require a bit of treatment.
I think it's Solis, is it? It's gone down there.
It's Kasaranis, actually.
Kasaranis.
And the referee's done well. He's done well on a few occasions doing this. He's just said, no, we don't need a physio for that. I think you'll be okay. 31,500 here, by the way. And Jackie was right. It did fill up because it was pretty empty at the start. I would say there weren't 20,000 in here at the start of this game, but over 30,000 inside what Jackie said earlier. It's a very, very good stadium because there's no running tracks. It's very tight. It's like a British ground, I would say.
Very colourful. And what I notice is behind both goals, very full. just a little bit sparse in the centre stand, right on the halfway line, which I assume are the most expensive tickets, high up, which is interesting.
And what's clearly the case in the middle tier, the corporate hospitality, there's hardly anybody in them.
Absolutely.
Which tells its own story.
Yes.
I think FIFA have got it wrong.
Yes.
In terms of the pricing and the ticketing and things.
Yes, quite incredible to see all those empty boxes.
So a goal kick now to the Greeks. Where are we on the clock? We've got under 7 minutes remaining here. 5 live from the BBC. At the end, we'll be hearing from Martin Keown. A little later from David Ginola ahead of France-Mexico tonight. We'll be hearing from the England training camp. We'll have reaction as well to that match I saw yesterday. The real shock scoreline of the tournament so far. Spain 0, Switzerland 1. And that's all to come on 5 Live. Plus, of course, commentary of this evening's game. So you are with the World Cup station. At the moment, we're in the Free State Stadium, an Orange Free State in Bloemfontein. And the Greeks are leading the Nigerians by 2-1 with just 6 minutes remaining. Samaras has it, and the Greeks are having the lion's share of possession. I noticed the stat at half-time was only 52% to 48, but I think in this second half will be nearer 60-40 or maybe 65-35. Possession isn't everything, of course, in football, because you can play on the break, you can be starved of the ball and still score the odd goal or two, but that's not what's happening at the moment. I have to be honest, it's looking very, very much like, unless they make a mistake, this is Greece's game. Adia over the halfway line. He did well to nip in and whip that ball off the toes of one of the Greek attackers into a Tuhu. They're going backwards at the moment. A Tuhu of Fulham finds Everton's Yobo. Yobo to Adia again. And now out to this near side. There's an opportunity perhaps coming forward for Abassi. Plays it infield. Back to Adia. Now it's Haruna. Haruna to Shitu. Now out to the far side to Echeyili. Echeyili finds Uche. Uche moves infield and then his pass. Well, Yakubu's telling him exactly what he did wrong there. His pass was put to the left of Yakubu, and Yakubu just pointed and said, "No, you played into my feet, son." But he didn't. It was way overhit, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. Last 5 minutes then here in Bloemfontein. The Greeks with what could be a priceless victory. They'll still not be favourites, of course, to go through, really, because it's South Korea, Nigeria in the last game, and Argentina against Greece. So the Greeks have to play the Argentines. But it'll be interesting because the Argentines have qualified, won't have qualified, but I mean they're odds on to do so, aren't they?
Well, it's the same play with the same vibrant attacking that they have shown so far. There's no question about it.
Ball into the penalty area. Greece attacking. Yobo clearing up yet again. The reason for that, by the way, is that Argentina at this lunchtime, if you have just tuned in, have just joined us, beat South Korea by 4-1 in Johannesburg. Gonzalo Higuain with a hat-trick. Todosides to take a throw-in for Greece. Still, they have the possession. Decent looking cross in, but unfortunately for the Greeks, Samaras can't quite reach it. Just a yard or so over his head, and very quickly Enyema takes the goal kick and hits it long over the halfway line. He got plenty of distance on that, but it was well cleared by Papadopoulos. And the ball's played back by Echeyili, the Nigerian left back, to his goalkeeper Enyema. You have to feel a little sorry for Enyema. Played brilliantly in both games, but if it stays 2-1, the winning goal really was his mistake. Karagounis just outside the edge of the penalty area. Good defending from Echeyili, stretching to get that ball. Shitu might be playing himself into trouble here, but he's very strong, and it's just as well because he nearly had that ball taken off his toes on 2 occasions.
Well, we thought at half-time that they were going to be tested this half, Shitu and Yobo in central defence, and in the end the weight of the Greek attacks has just been probably too much for them to restrain the white-shirted forwards.
Well, Samaras is getting a yellow card for a foul there, and it's a free kick to Nigeria, and they are pushing a few bodies forward now. Yobo has stayed back, but Shitu has gone forward as Echeyili, and it will be Adia to take this free kick. It's about 10 yards inside the Greek half, with the Greeks leading. You can hear the African horns all around this stadium. It is, as David said, very, very colourful. Lots of yellow Bafana shirts. Plenty of Greeks in their blue, of course, and plenty of green of Nigeria. Adia with this long free kick. Kyriakos, that's a good clearing header. Really got plenty of distance on that, and Haruna on the halfway line with a Greek midfielder breathing down his neck is forced to send it all the way back to Enyema. Forward we go with Nigeria, but headed away again, this time by Ziolis, the defensive midfielder. Now Nigeria come again on the edge of the penalty area. Yakubu tries to combine with the Tuhu. Yakubu can't reach it, and now it's possibly the Greeks on the break who can grab a third. Over the halfway line, Karagounis was fouled there, quite clearly fouled, and it wastes a bit of time, and it's also a booking for Abassi as well.
He's had a poor time. He's had a poor time.
He has, and he will rue that missed chance.
He missed the chance, he's miscontrolled a couple of balls. He hasn't shown me enough intelligence in his play on the right side of midfield, and there he's conceded a free kick at a vital time in the game, which gives probably taken a minute out of the game actually between the actual booking and the actual taking of this free kick. Valuable time, and still Yakubu ploughs that lone furrow up front. I'm surprised I haven't gone 3 at the back. I'm a bit disappointed with Lagerbäck. It should be 3 at the back, 2 in midfield, and push another couple. They've got a lot to learn sometimes, from English teams. If you're a goal down, 15 minutes to go, and you're in this situation, you've got to get the ball forward quickly. In fact, it's some of the philosophy of the Greeks. The Greeks have got as many crosses in as any team in this competition. They're an expedient, longish ball side, but they do get that ball in the box.
Ziolis has it for the Greeks. We're in the last 30 seconds of normal time. Like you, I think Lagerbäck might have been just a little bit more proactive. If you're losing and you don't do anything, then the chances are you probably will lose in the end. You've got to mix things up a little bit, and I don't think he's done that. Whereas Otto Rehhagel, very, very early in the game, changed things around. In the first half, made an attacking substitution, bringing on Samaras, who's played reasonably well, but it's more the system that they adopted when they took Papastathopoulos off that has really helped the Greeks. We are now into added time. We will have 4 minutes of added time, and Greece lead Nigeria by 2-1. This is Yobo. To be honest, one of the big centre-backs might as well go up now, either Shitu or Yobo. They're both really good headers of the ball, particularly Danny Shitu, a very powerful man, but they're both staying back, and maybe he feels a 2-1 defeat will suffice, and they might get through by winning the last game, but it's a very risky play indeed. There's confirmation of the 4 minutes. It's a little late, to be honest, because we've had 40 seconds of it already. Uche will take the free kick. Remember, he scored from a free kick from long range in first half. Free kick that deceived the goalkeeper. There was a decoy runner, and Uche comes again, and just listen to the noise inside the stadium. A ball in towards a Tuhu, doesn't reach it, and now the Greeks can break 3 against 3. Todosides it is, who might turn out to have scored the winning goal, and that's a hopeless pass straight to the goalkeeper, Enyema. David Pleat.
Yeah, it was a rather poor pass. Less said the better. Picked the wrong selection. There was a break on the right hand side. I think it was Salpingidis, but didn't select that pass. Played the ball down the middle. Rehhagel is quite animated, but I think he's quite safe. I think he'll reflect on his histrionics in the last few minutes and look back afterwards and think, well, what were we worried about? Goalkeeper taking his time. I noticed Howard Webb booked the goalkeeper last night in the last couple of minutes for taking his time. This referee doesn't seem overly concerned, because he can always add on further seconds even in the minutes that he's put on the clock anyway.
Here's Samaras coming down this near side for Greece. The Greeks leading here, and potentially now just 2 minutes away from their first ever victory at the World Cup finals. They'd never scored a goal at the finals before today. Well, today they've got 2. They lead 2-1 against 10-man Nigeria, and as I say, just 2 minutes away from a victory, and they could yet qualify despite a shocking display last Saturday against South Korea. Could yet qualify, but they'll have to do it the tough way. They play Argentina in their final group game. Good ball from Karagounis, finds Ziolis and almost slips through the hands of the goalkeeper, but does well. He diverts it behind for a corner. Decided he couldn't gather that ball in. 90 seconds of added time remain. Samaras to take this corner. Well, eventually he might leave it. They might take it short, to be honest, Greece. I think they will. and probably try to keep the ball down near the corner flag. Here is Samaras, gets past Abassi a little too easily, I would have said. Samaras then could have given that ball back to Karagounis. He doesn't. He plays it off Abassi, and as Karagounis says, you should have passed to me there. He just says, no, just calm it down. We don't need to do anything fancy here. There's only a minute on the clock. Samaras has done well down this near side touchline, dribble past two, and then ridiculously tries to shoot from the dead ball line. He had Salpingidis in the box.
Disgraceful.
He should have pulled it back.
Absolutely disgraceful. Went down the byline very cleverly, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then he
super.
shot from a stupid angle and should have hit that 6-yard box. And well, Samaras.
Last 30 seconds. One or two people starting to drift away. It's got colder as darkness has fallen in Bloemfontein. Throw in on the halfway line, which is taken in towards Uche, but he can't reach it. And the Greeks are going to see this game out, I think, as there's only 10 seconds to go. I think the referee's just had a crafty look at his watch. Ray Hagel very, very animated down on that touchline. The goalkeeper has taken the throw in there, but it's too late for any more from Nigeria, because the Greeks have won it. The referee has blown his full-time whistle. The Greeks have won their first ever game at the World Cup finals. They were trailing Nigeria early on, but Sani Keita's sending off in the 33rd minute changed the entire complexion of the game. 10 minutes later, Greece equalised, and then Torresidis with the winner in the second half. David Pleat.
Certainly was an entertaining game, however way you interpret the word entertaining. Greeks were direct, they got plenty of corners, they got plenty of crosses in, they tested the goalkeeper, and it was so ironic that he made a mistake that gave the helping hand to Greece to win this game, because Enyima was excellent throughout, made several good saves. There was one or two incredible misses, not least at all by Abassi, which Nigeria could have taken the lead, and of course Gekas for Greece. But Torresidis settled it 2-1. I don't think this result would have been as it was had Keita not been such a foolish to react on the far side. But entertaining game, and well done the Greeks for reviving themselves after such a disappointment in their opening game.
Yeah, final score in Bloemfontein as we hand to Mark Chapman. Greece 2, Nigeria 1.